Welcome to the Happy Empath. I am Trisha Dyka. Today I wanted to chat with you about the different empath traits. Sometimes we're just told that we're highly sensitive, and what exactly does that mean? I want you to take like a good look at some of these traits and ask yourself, are these some of the traits that I've had my whole life? And it's interesting as I go back and look, a lot of these traits were there, although I didn't understand them at the time. So we feel things emotionally, we feel things mentally, we feel things physically, and then we encompass it all in a spiritual way. And that is really, how do we see ourselves and see ourselves as an empath? Because we're born as empaths. It's not something that we pick up. It is not something that we learn later in life, although we may learn about what we are later in life. Unless, of course, we have somebody in our family who understands that and has the ability to give us the guidance to understand this gift, which is great if you've had that growing up. Now, one of the things I did want to share with you is I created my word for the year, and then I went to myintent.org, I believe it is, and I'll put that link in the newsletter. And I got my word put on a bracelet that I wear daily, and my word for the year is love. So anytime I catch myself in something that I'm not 100% sure I want to do, I look at my word and I think, is this something I really want to do? Is this something that's really in my path? Is this something that I would love doing? Would I enjoy being a part of? Do I want to learn deeply more about a topic? So it's always a constant reminder for me. So, okay, let's head over to our topic, empath traits. So now, physically, it is picking something up that you may not have had a minute ago. For example, you wake up, you're happy, you're excited, and then you go to the doctor's office, you go to work, you go someplace, and next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, I'm so tired. What happened? I know I had a good night's sleep. And when you catch yourself, because if we're not aware and we're not being present to how we're feeling and what our body is telling us, we just do automatically assume, oh, now all of a sudden I have a headache. Now all of a sudden, my teeth hurt, my this hurts, my that hurts, I'm tired. And what I want you to do this coming week is actually question if it's yours or if it's something you just picked up from somebody. You can also create your symbol. You can have your symbol for emotional overwhelm. You can also have your symbol for picking things up physically. You can create another symbol for that. Physically, is this yours? Does this belong to you? And I noticed that if it's something that I pick up quickly, 1, 2, 3, that's not mine, right? That's just not mine. And it's interesting because I have picked up headaches and picked up like being so tired and I very energetically drained. Like I had all this energy and all of a sudden I've got shit. It's like, what happened? How did I lose all this energy? See, that might be you actually picking up somebody else's being tired, being exhausted, being drained with life. So this week, pay attention to how you are feeling physically. Emotionally, the same thing. If you're happy and you're excited and you're joyful, and the next thing you know, you're depressed and you're full of anxiety and you're sad, or you've got a lot of stress going on in your life and bam, you're super excited and happy, because yes, you can pick up happy emotions, exciting emotions, just as much as you can pick up the negative ones. So, be present to how you're feeling. Use it as your guidance system to what's going on within you, and if you're picking up other things, other people's stuff. Now, there are also some other highly sensitive aspects to it, and that is sound. Sound can be overwhelming for us. Like, perfect example, my husband he's a ham operator, so he loves having different radios on. And there are some days when I am just not capable of hearing all of that noise. All of that noise is white noise to me, and it's like my head wants to explode. It is too much. So I will ask him to shut it off, or I will leave the room, go into another room. I will put on earphones and put on calming music or meditate or do something to bring myself down. So sound is huge. Light, same thing. Have you ever been in a mall or been under fluorescent lights where it's like, oh my God, it's so bright I just want to put sunglasses on because the light is actually hurting my eyes. Like, so there are a lot of sensitivities. Sensitivities to taste, to smell. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a supermarket and I've gone into the fish or the meat department or just walked in the front door of the supermarket and walked out. Perfumes, colognes, if it's too, you've been with these flowery ones or somebody puts a lot on, that bothers my senses. It'll actually burn my nose and I'm super sensitive. I am super, super sensitive to smell. Interestingly enough, I know somebody who is on chemo and I was by her and I'm smelling chemicals, I'm smelling metals, and I just was like, and I didn't understand at first what it was, but I smelled it. And then 2 days later, she had said to me, she goes, after that treatment that I had, I actually tasted metals in my mouth. And I went, that triggered a light bulb for me. I went, holy shit, I actually smelled the chemo on her. So smell is very sensitive for us. Smells, touch, how many times have you been in, let's say, antique store that you touch something and you can actually feel the vibrations of an object. Isn't that kind of cool? Although it can be very overwhelming depending on the emotions or the vibrations that are attached to that object, right? I noticed that I can also, and I want you to pay attention to this, pick up the vibe of being on a teleseminar call. When a group of people are there and they're learning a topic. For me, I find when certain subjects are being discussed that I feel the overwhelming collective energy of that. And sometimes I actually have to hang up and try to listen to it when it's not so much active energy. However, that energy is still attached. So even if you get the recording of the call, you can still feel it later. So the next time I go to, pick up the call to listen to the recording, I have to make sure that I'm really grounded or I am capable of listening to the call. So, same thing with the YouTube video. You're actually listening to somebody, and even see if you could pick up vibes from me. I could tell you I'm kind of tired today. I did go to the beach and grounded, and it was awesome. But I'm feeling a little tired. So see if you could sense that off of me. The other thing is reading a book. How many times have you read a book that it might be a funny part and the author is actually having a hard time in their life? So you're actually picking up those emotions as well. So all of these text messages, you can pick up people's feelings as well, or what they're trying not to say. For example, you could sense bullshit a mile away. If someone's telling you a story, it's like, yeah. Thanks so much, I gotcha, and you're taking it with a grain of salt because you just know that they're lying to you. Or you can also sense when they're lying to themselves because they're not capable of, at that point in their lives, dealing with whatever situation is going on. Being the peacemaker, defending the underdog, trying to diffuse situations when people are arguing. These are all traits of an empath. There are just so many examples for each one. And I want you to kind of stop this week and really see, are you highly sensitive, but when you're picking things up? Or are you a true empath where not only are you highly sensitive to all these things, but, you are now learning to understand your energy and understand what you're picking up from others that's not actually yours. Because that's the difference. To me, the difference is an empath is actually picking things up and you don't know the difference. And you're taking it on as yours. An empath is being able to walk up to somebody and you're actually feeling their pain. You could do this to somebody you know, you could be in your house and this is happening to you, or you could be feeling this on a collective basis, whereas something's going on in the world and you're feeling the collective angst of it, or something the earth just happened with the earth, let's say a hurricane, an earthquake, fires. and you're feeling the earth, but you're also feeling that collective anxiety of the people in that area. So pay attention to that. And another thing I want you guys to check out, right, is, and it's something that I have learned, is, we'll pick up the full moon and the new moon because it actually, people react to those differently, and you could still pick that up. So let's say we're coming into a full moon soon. So I'll talk about that. I think that's the end of the month. So I'll do a video on the full moon and the expectation of it and what you may or may not feel. So, let me see. Places with a lot of people, you try to avoid, like malls. Or, I mean, for me, I went to a baseball game and it was loaded with people, but because everybody was so happy to be there, you picked up that exuberance. I picked up that exuberance. I picked up everybody being so joyful there. It was a Yankee game we actually went to in June, and everybody was psyched to be there. And so if you're in a place with a lot of people, you're going to be picking that up. I also noticed that if you're in a place where people are drinking a lot, now you're picking up everything that they're feeling. So if people are drinking, they're drinking because they're hurt or they're burdened or they're just drinking out with friends, like all of those emotions come up into the surface, and that's like kind of out in the area, and you've got this big antenna that says, let me, come to me. The one way is make sure you're grounded. Make sure you're using the heart-centered intention so that you can clear these emotions out when they're coming through to you. So, let's see. You know when someone's not being genuine. You know when, like, you just know things. You know things are about to happen. You know things are, like a really big sense of knowing. Or you've actually, this is one of the things, a trait that I say, is when you feel like you're crazy, because you know when someone's lying, you know when something's happening, you know, and if you talk about it out loud to the people that are involved in the situation, they're going to tell you, no, you're crazy, or that's not the truth, or, so instead of doing that, see it, feel it, and let it play out. And you'll get your own confirmation. It may not be in that moment, but the confirmation may happen down the road. I have learned that when I see something, I sense something, and I know something's about to happen, and I know the different people involved in the situations, I will watch it unfold, and I will know how it will unfold. And sometimes the best thing to do is just to be the bystander and allow it to unfold, because people also need to follow their own path. They need to learn their own things. They need to see things for themselves. All right, guys. So let me see. What else? Oh, how about this one? Commercials, TV, violence, big no-nos. Some of these commercials that are on TV nowadays, just, I can't watch them. I can't watch the ones about animals or about babies being sick, or it just brings, like, tears to my eyes. So I don't watch that. I actually stay far away from the news as much as possible, and the same thing with TV, unless I know it's something funny that I want to watch on TV. Pay attention to all of these things this week, and let me hear how it goes for you this week, and see if you have a lot of these traits. See how they make you feel, and try to be more present in yourself and in your body and what is coming up and what you are feeling. And always question, does this belong to me? Is this mine? All right, guys, have a great day.